Alpha males are often celebrated as the kings of the social hierarchy, thriving on praise, control, and the thrill of leading the pack. Their success is built on commanding attention and keeping everything under their control. But what happens when the unyielding force of the Sigma male steps into the arena? Imagine a man who doesn't crave the spotlight or conform to the traditional rules, a man who is equally sharp, perhaps even more so, but operates on his own terms, like a lone wolf in the wild. The Sigma male defies the established order, leaving the Alpha's well-oiled system scrambling. In the natural world, even the mighty Alpha must respect the solitary independence of the lone wolf, and in real life, these two archetypes are destined for a fascinating clash. In today's video, we're delving into the compelling dynamics between these two distinct breeds of men. Get ready as we unveil 7 powerful reasons why Alpha males simply can't handle the enigmatic allure of Sigma males. Stay tuned. This is one showdown you won't want to miss. Point 1. Sigmas don't seek validation. Alpha males thrive on hierarchy. Their confidence is built on dominance, being the leader of the pack, gaining recognition, and ensuring their authority is unquestioned. Their validation comes externally through status, competition, and admiration. But as Sigma, you exist beyond the hierarchy itself. You don't challenge the Alpha for dominance. You render the hierarchy irrelevant. This taps into the psychology of social dynamics. Humans naturally form hierarchies, but those who operate outside these structures often command the most intrigue. Sociologists call this the lone wolf effect. When someone rejects traditional power structures, yet remains self-sufficient, they become unpredictable and therefore more respected. A Sigma's validation comes from within. Unlike the Alpha, who relies on external dominance, you define success on your own terms. This creates a unique paradox. Alphas who thrive on control struggle to influence you. Your lack of need for approval unsettles them because it contradicts their entire framework of power. Women also recognize this distinction. While Alphas attract through status, Sigmas attract through mystery and independence. A man who needs no external validation signals true self-mastery, something both men and women unconsciously respect. By not competing, you win. By not seeking recognition, you gain influence. And by refusing to play the game, you change it entirely. Point 2. You're unpredictable. Alphas thrive on traditional dominance, being the loudest, the most assertive, the leader of the pack. Their power comes from commanding attention, enforcing rules, and controlling social dynamics. But as Sigma, you reject the hierarchy altogether. You don't challenge Alphas head-on, nor do you submit. You simply remove yourself from the game entirely. This is what makes you an anomaly. Psychologically, humans are wired to categorize people, placing them into familiar social structures. But when someone doesn't fit the mold, it creates cognitive dissonance, a mental conflict where people struggle to understand what doesn't conform to expectations. A Sigma disrupts the social order because he operates independently, unaffected by groupthink or external validation. This is why Alpha males often dislike Sigmas. Alphas build their dominance by controlling others, whether through intimidation, leadership, or charisma. But you're unpredictable. You don't react the way others do. You don't seek approval or competition. And most importantly, you can't be manipulated because you don't need the social hierarchy to define you. For women, this is fascinating. While Alphas put their dominance on display, a Sigma remains a mystery, as psychology confirms fuels attraction. Unlike an Alpha whose power is external, a Sigma's strength is internal, rooted in self-sufficiency and quiet confidence. In a world where most men play by the rules, you write your own. And that's why you remain both respected and feared. Point 3. You command respect without forcing it. Respect can be demanded or it can be earned. Alphas often assert dominance through sheer presence, commanding attention, speaking the loudest, and sometimes even intimidating others into compliance. But as Sigma, you take a different path. You earn respect effortlessly, not by force, but by mastery of yourself, your skills, and your purpose. This aligns with status psychology, the idea that true influence isn't about imposing authority, but about demonstrating value. People naturally respect those who exhibit self-discipline, competence, and quiet confidence. Unlike an alpha who seeks validation through external dominance, a sigma operates with an internal compass. He doesn't need to prove his worth because his actions speak for him. This quiet strength is often unsettling to alphas. While they thrive on competition and public recognition, sigmas remain indifferent. This lack of need for validation disrupts the social hierarchy. The alpha, used to measuring himself against others, finds himself unable to gauge a sigma because a sigma plays by different rules. The women pick up on this distinction. While alphas may impress with their boldness, sigmas captivate with their mystery and self-sufficiency. People respect an alpha's power, but they admire a sigma's control. That's why a sigma's influence isn't loud, it's undeniable. Point 4. Sigmas are lone wolves, and that's intimidating. Alpha males thrive on hierarchy, dominance, and the need for a following. They build packs, establish ranks, and reinforce their authority through social validation. Their strength comes from their ability to lead others. But a sigma, you walk alone, and that's what makes you different. This taps into the psychology of social independence. Studies in behavioral science show that most people naturally seek belonging in groups. They conform to social norms, follow authority, and find comfort in numbers. But a sigma rejects this instinct not out of rebellion, but because he simply doesn't need it. His self-sufficiency defies the traditional power structure, making him unpredictable and, in many cases, more respected than even the alpha. This is why alphas often see sigmas as a threat. While they rely on influence over others, you operate entirely on your own terms. You don't seek validation, approval, or recognition, and that challenges their entire philosophy. A man who doesn't need leadership and doesn't want to lead is an anomaly in any social dynamics. This kind of independence intrigues women as well. A man who doesn't compete for dominance but still commands respect is rare. He moves through life with quiet confidence, free from the pressures of groupthink. While the alpha gathers followers, the sigma remains a mystery. And in a world where most men either lead or follow, the one who stands alone is the one who's truly in control. Point 5. Women are drawn to sigmas, with alphas thrive on dominance, constantly asserting themselves to prove they're the strongest in the room. They seek attention, lead the pack, and demand recognition. But a sigma, you don't have to try. Your power isn't loud, it's effortless. This taps into status psychology. In social hierarchies, alphas are seen as leaders because of their assertiveness and need for control. However, studies in behavioral psychology suggest that true influence isn't always about being the loudest. In fact, the most intriguing and respected individuals are often those who operate outside traditional structures, which is exactly what makes the sigma so powerful. Your quiet confidence, deep intelligence, and independence naturally attract women. Unlike alphas who engage in dominance battles and social games, you remain detached. This lack of neediness drives women's curiosity because it suggests you have nothing to prove, and in the game of attraction, mystery is far more compelling than overexertion. Alphas despise this because they thrive on competition. They're used to being the center of attention, but when a sigma enters the room, the dynamic shifts. Women are drawn to your calm presence and self-sufficiency, often ignoring the alpha's attempts to impress. This infuriates them because despite all their effort, they realize true dominance doesn't need validation, it simply exists. Point 6. You think while they react. Sigmas operate on strategy, not impulse. While alphas rely on aggression and dominance to establish their position, you move differently. Calm, observant, and always 3 steps ahead. This isn't passivity, it's calculated control. And psychology, this aligns with emotional intelligence, the ability to regulate emotions and respond rather than react. Studies show that individuals with high emotional intelligence are more influential and respected than those who rely on brute force or loud displays. Alphas often act on instinct, believing that forcefulness equals strength. But when a sigma remains composed in situations where an alpha loses his temper, the contrast becomes glaring. Instead of competing for dominance, you dismantle the very foundation of his power, not through confrontation, but through sheer mental discipline. That's why alphas resent sigmas. It's frustrating to realize that brute force has no effect on someone who isn't playing the same game. This is the difference between power and wisdom. Power demands recognition. Wisdom moves in silence. Alphas need to be seen and heard, while a Sigma's influence is felt, not forced. The ability to stay unshaken in chaotic situations commands respect from those who understand strength and irritation from those who don't. Sigmas don't just win battles. They make their opponents question whether the fight was even worth it. That more than anything makes them a force to be reckoned with. Point 7. You expose the insecurity in their confidence. True confidence doesn't need to be loud. Many alphas project dominance with raised voices, exaggerated gestures, and an almost performative sense of authority. But deep down, some of them are compensating, hiding insecurities behind aggression. A Sigma, on the other hand, has nothing to prove. His confidence isn't a show, it's a state of being. This is backed by social dominance theory, which explains that true leaders don't need to assert control forcefully. They naturally command respect through self-mastery and composure. A Sigma's quiet presence forces others, especially loud alphas, to confront their own doubts. They might act tough, but your unshaken demeanor exposes the cracks in their armor. People can sense the difference between forced confidence and the real thing. Fake confidence demands validation. Real confidence doesn't care for approval. That's why a Sigma unsettles those who rely on external reinforcement. His self-sufficiency is a reminder that strength isn't about volume, it's about presence. The real kicker: while an alpha dominates a room with noise, a Sigma dominates without saying a word. That kind of power makes people rethink everything they thought they knew about confidence. Sigmas, the reason you're hated by alpha males isn't because you're weak. It's because you're strong in a way they can't match. You challenge the system by simply existing, by being different, by proving that real power doesn't come from dominance but from. So let them hate. Let them misunderstand. Because in the end, the ones who refuse to play the game are the ones who change it. Sigmas, if you resonate with this, make sure to like this video and subscribe. This community is for those who refuse to follow the herd and choose to live life on their own terms. Having said this,